What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to the.Ugly Truth Podcast, where we get to speak with some amazing people that have done some amazing things. But as we know, to every story of success, there's always an ugly truth. So we're here. We're going to talk with my guy, Orlando. We're going to see what his ugly truth is. I need you to know that the.Ugly Truth Podcast is sponsored by The Ugly brand. Okay, we're sponsored by The Ugly brand. Go ahead and get your gear at www.theuglybrand.com. I suggest you guys get ready for that Black Friday sale. Okay. I suggest you get ready. All right. So let's get to it without any further ado. Orlando, welcome.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We are together here as a part of the morning meetup family. And
Yes,
Orlando
ma'am.
has an amazing story that I highly believe needs to be shared with everybody, pretty much. And so
I
that's what we're here
appreciate
to
you,
do
Queen.
today.
I
Absolutely,
really
man.
appreciate
Absolutely. So from what I know, you have the scoop and the tea. I think the kids call these days call it a tea
it.
on mortgages. But
Yes.
before we get to that, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, um, I'm 50 years old. I just turned 50.
Ooh,
So,
half century.
um,
We like that. Congratulations.
thank you. Um, I was born in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was uh I was born in 1971.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was born with cerebral palsy.
Okay.
Um, that's a must. You could be. It could affect your legs. It could affect your speech. It could affect your mobility.
Mm-hmm.
Different things of that sort. Your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for by the grace of God, it just affected my legs,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it affected my brain somewhat, but not too much. It shows up every now and then, because I was diagnosed with dyslexia, you know, as well as different things of that sort along with that. But once you and then with the cerebral palsy, it flares up a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
than
Mm-hmm.
normal. But other than that, I've went to public school like anybody else. Not, I haven't did the college thing or anything of that sort.
Right. Right.
I also I also been homeless 5 times. You
Five
know.
times. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We're not about to just skip over that.
Yeah.
You're not about to just skip over that, though. So growing up, having this disease, you say you
This is
made it through.
it's not a disease. It's just like a
Okay,
muscle disability, but it's not a
a muscle
disease.
disability.
Right.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. So growing up this way,
Hmm.
which I is just different. Okay, it's
Right.
not. It's not. It's just a difference.
Right.
Um, how how do we get to where we are now? Like growing up, what did that look like for you mentally, emotionally? Did you feel like, there were things that you couldn't do? Did you feel limited, or did you're like, yeah, no, this is just how I am, and this is just how it's gonna be. We're gonna keep it moving.
I was. It really affected me when I was a kid
Mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm,
people would pick on me.
mm-hmm,
Like kids would just want to start fights with me.
mm-hmm,
Different stuff, different stuff like that.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was real difficult at one point.
Okay.
And when I was a kid, I wanted to commit suicide.
You wanted to commit suicide as a child.
Yeah,
Okay. Did you ever attempt?
I tried, but my mom didn't hear that. She didn't take me to therapy, but she
Uh-huh.
was just she just didn't want to hear that shit. You
Yeah.
know, she was just like, "You ain't doing it. It ain't happening."
Right.
She fought my battles for me.
Wow. Wow. That's it's there's no I want to say there's no love like a mother's love. It's just it taps in just a bit different. And kudos to mom. We're very appreciative of her changing your mindset because she saw something in you that you didn't yet see in yourself.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay. All right. So cool. We grew up. Kids are mean. You survived that. What did life look like after school?
Continue just being hard, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Jobs didn't really, I mean, I got jobs, but every
Mm-hmm.
time I got the job, they wanted to find out, you know, because you had the ADA allowed you to get the job, but then when
Mm-hmm.
you got the job, they gave a 6-month window to the employers. Then
Right.
after
Now, really quickly, what is ADA?
Americans with Disabilities Act,
Okay. Cool.
right?
American Disabilities Act.
So,
Okay, got it.
so basically, they allow employers back in the early 90s, because
Mm-hmm.
it came into effect in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So excuse me for a cough,
No, you're
but
okay.
they gave them that program was started in the 90s for people that was trying to get employed. So Congress put that in place. But
Right.
what they didn't do, and where I had a problem with that, they allowed the employers to only keep you for 6 months and get benefits for having you on staff. But that was
Mm.
only a 6-month thing. So they will
Mm.
make anywhere from 50,000 to off a person to
Just for
$100,000.
employing you.
Yeah, just for employment.
Wow.
It was like this disability, this being disabled. They look like, okay, I'll give them a job. You know, they need the help. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and like an incentive, not because like
Right. Right.
not because they think they can add value to the company.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
just like give them something to do. Like, it's just like being black.
Mm-hmm.
We're the second, the third, you know, generation.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
Mm-hmm.
second class. Or the
Right.
third class.
Like a token.
Right,
Right.
right. So
Right.
it's not like they really think people with disability got value. So
Right.
so not only from a racist standpoint of being black or colored, but
Mm-hmm.
now you're dealing with the third the the third discrimination,
Mm-hmm.
the disability.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I never looked at it like that. Because
Right,
we already know, especially for black men, they already come with strikes against them. One,
right.
because they're black, and it's hard already enough out here for black men, but then to be a black man with a disability, it's like it's almost dang near like like I'm just defeated
You defeated before
before it
the
even
the the
starts.
m- the mood is that as you move in life,
Hmm.
you feel defeated at before you even fucking start. Excuse
Wow.
me. I mean,
Wow. Nah, you all right, King? You all right? Wow. Okay. So are you still in corporate?
um, no, I'm 100% out of corporate.
Okay. So
I'm doing it ugly.
there it
I'm
is.
I'm doing
Hey,
it ugly.
hey. So take me through that. At what point did you get to a place where you're like, you know what? I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore.
2005.
2005. I'm done. I'm not
2000,
doing this anymore.
2005. I quit
Okay.
with with my last check of $200.
Wow. Wow.
$200 in my pocket. That's it.
Wow. Okay. What did that look like?
Scary as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Scary,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and whatnot. And I ended up grinding on the street,
Mm-hmm.
hustling, you know, doing what I had to do to get the bread.
Mm-hmm.
Weed, different things like that. You know
Mm-hmm.
how that street stuff look. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
just
But
trying
you
to
had to
get there.
survive.
Right.
So you went to a survival mode.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And so we've gone from the multiple corporate jobs, and you get to a point where you're just like, man, I'm tired of this. I'm not doing this anymore. And now we're in survival mode. Okay. Walk me through survival mode. Like, I don't need to know the exact details, but survival mode, is this where we became homeless? Like,
well, early on, like the 80s and the 90s and whatnot, it was 2000s. That's when it got real. It got real. You know, like, I mean, I had, by 2000 I had quit grinding, and I was just trying to figure it out, because I had kids by that time, and I couldn't, I couldn't be doing it. So
right.
So by 2000 I was just like, look, it is what it is. I gotta figure it out.
Right.
I had to figure it out, and that was that. But what it looked like wasn't no money coming in, and
right.
I said, I can't do this street stuff no more, because I had my son in 2000, whatever. So, my funds had depleted. I was going in grocery stores robbing to grab food, and eating out of trash can.
Wow.
Sleeping in Dunkin' Donuts. Finding 24-hour places I could sleep in, because when we was homeless, me and my family was separated. And they was in one place, and I wasn't, because I was a community advocate by 2000, and I was exposing what was going on with either housing or what was going on in the schools for the resources for the kids. I was one of the biggest mouth advocates in Philadelphia at that time.
Now, you said something about housing. Is this what you did when you worked for corporate? Like, where did we get to a point to where you got this type of information?
No.
Okay.
See, with me, I just found myself in different lanes over time, just doing it,
right,
and then just learning it as I go. Like with the advocacy work, I knew nothing about advocacy work. I saw it I saw that they were closing my son's school, and I went down there for the first time, and then I linked up with other community advocates, and that's what it was. Next thing I know, for the next 12 years, I learned everything about what was going on with the school district and everything. And then I ended up running for state representative twice in Philadelphia, and ended up suing the Democratic Party, for not letting me get the seat, because the person that was holding the seat, they was indicted for embezzlement and all that. So.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, I got multiple layers to a lot of stuff.
That's all good, man. That's all good. So you were living in Philly.
Yeah.
And where are you currently?
I'm in Philly now.
Oh, you're still in Philly. Okay. Okay, so homeless 5 times. Talk to me about that.
That's because I think I can't prove it, but I think that's because I was doing so much talking about so much stuff.
Okay.
And it was pushback. But quiet pushback. It wasn't like we gonna do that, because they knew that if they did that publicly, they would get backlash because I'm disabled. Like, how you gonna do that to that man? So
right.
But it was quiet pushback, because this is the thing. I had aligned myself with a lot of people in state government and city government. So So then, I was on, on Section 8. I'm still in Section 8 now
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. And we was having a lot of issues with the landlord, not the one now, but
Mm-hmm.
in past time we had a lot of issues with
Right.
that going on.
Right.
So we let that be known,
Mm-hmm.
and different things. And I had a direct contact with certain politicians and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I would let them know.
Right.
And they just push push the can down the road where
Right.
they heard me. See, when they needed my help, they was reaching out. Hey, what you got? Because
Right.
I started writing legislation bills, you
Mm-hmm.
know, on housing and different things, learning how to draft legislation bills and really creating your own bill. Because this is the thing. When
Mm-hmm.
you when you have a situation in your state government or your city government, you could draft your own damn bill. You could
Mm-hmm.
draft your own bill and have your representative push it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to wait for them to draft the bill. You can
Right.
do it on your own.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people don't realize.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want your neighborhood to have a certain thing, you can literally notarize that, and then that can be introduced as a bill.
Right. 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 Okay.
So that's what I did. I wrote the bill for where tenants would have counsel when they would have issues of with
Mm-hmm.
their landlords, because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of tenants was going there and they couldn't afford attorneys to represent them. So the landlords would just walk all over them in
Right.
court cases,
Right.
you know. So I actually drafted a bill and drafted an enforcement
Right.
unit to make sure that tenants had the bill. But every bill I wrote, they put their name on it and didn't give me no credit at all.
Wow.
Not that I was looking for it, but
Right.
no,
Right.
but
Okay.
I'm like, wow, y'all just steal a lot of stuff. So
Right. I'm not surprised. Politics is a very messy place.
yeah, dirty game.
Very
Dirty
messy
game.
place. Right.
Mm.
Okay. So tell me about this housing thing. And I only want you to expose what you want to expose. Um, I'm a realtor here in Maryland. I'm not super heavy in the game. It was something that I did before I got into doing what I'm doing now. And all I know is sell houses. But then if there's certain credit score stuff like that for mortgages and stuff like that. But there's something about mortgages that that a lot of people don't. So what what can you tell me and everyone that's listening the ugly truth about mortgages?
That your mortgage is an investment contract.
Your mortgage is an investment contract. Can you
Yes.
dive deeper into that? What's an
So
investment
what
contract?
an investment contract, let's say, like if you want to invest in like the stock market,
Right.
like you want to invest in multiple companies and
Right.
different things of that
Right.
sort. So all your all your mortgages are investment contract, and it's
Mm-hmm.
a cash flow claim to a bunch of investors. So if you ever heard of ETF REITs, the
Mm-hmm.
the real estate REITs, that's your mortgage.
Okay.
That's your mortgage. So what they do is then when you sign the mortgage, what you're doing is they take the signature, because your signature is valued at $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's collateralized about 20 or 30 times over. And then from that point, they take it to the U.S. Treasury Department.
Mm-hmm.
They collateralize it. So let's say if it's $1 million, you get $30 million on
Mm-hmm.
that collateralization. Then it goes to the U.S. Treasury Department. They give them the funds for it, and
Mm-hmm.
then they take it to the insurance company to insure it.
Mm-hmm.
So they insure the $30 million, with an insurance company, and then they get it through the Treasury Department, and then they take out your your money for the loan, and then tack on the interest
Right.
on top of that. But remember, they never had any skin in the game in the first place, because your credit financed the whole transaction. So you're the bank, the borrower, the seller, and the purchaser.
Okay. So, okay.
Because I want you to think like this. When you go to a bank, what do they ask you first?
Your name?
No, besides that. What do they ask you first?
Are you a member?
No.
Your
We
credit.
need to run your credit.
Your credit. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So your credit is the first thing they run.
Right.
Now, mind you, outside of your credit, what stake in the game do they give you? Know what I mean, what did they give you to say you owe us?
Nothing.
If the first thing they're running is your credit, what did they give you for them to say, okay, now you owe us X amount of dollars?
Shoot, an inquiry. All I be getting.
Huh?
An inquiry is all I get.
Yeah, well, see, that's the
Hit on my
thing.
credit.
That's the thing. They don't have any legal authority to ask you for anything, because everything came from you. Because if you look on a mortgage contract, how many signatures are on that mortgage contract?
Mine.
And who else?
That's it.
So why do you pay? If you're the only one on that contract, you need 2 signatures or more to make a valid contract.
So right now it's a unilateral contract.
But the situation is, if they never told you the full disclosure of the contract and the true nature of the contract is not valid.
Okay, I see what you did there. So now that I've signed this unilateral contract, but I'm making bilateral movements in a sense where I am now paying someone else for a contract with myself. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. You the only financier in the whole thing. But why are you paying somebody else? Because if they never told you the full disclosure of the true nature of the contract, then how is that valid, and how can they ask you for any payment? They didn't give you anything to require payment. If me and you do a contract, that's a one-on-one personal contract. We're discussing terms, we're discussing, the conditions of the contract. That is a full disclosure contract between 2 individuals.
Right.
When the last time they fully disclosed everything they did doing with a mortgage contract? Never.
Never. Okay, so how do we, or how do we? I'll just say myself, because I have a mortgage. So now that we've discovered that this is a contract between me, myself, and I've been paying this bank for XX amount of years. What now?
So now you can put them on notice what you're intending to do. And you have to file a case against the mortgage company.
And so wait a minute, real quick, my intent. What is my intent? I'm not paying this no more.
Your intent is, I'm under an illegal contract, without full disclosure.
Without full disclosure. Okay.
Without the full disclosure. So I have a right to void out the contract.
Right.
So I'm terminating this contract.
Wow. Okay.
So
what happens when you do that?
Once you do that, then they have, and you file, then we do a securitization mortgage audit. My company, we contract with more, securitization mortgage auditors
Mm-hmm.
to research the violations in there. Then they do a report,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a mechanism,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't get that away, but
Absolutely, that's fine.
thing that we do to show that it's pay, been paid off, because it was already paid off at the closing table.
It was already paid off when I signed the paper.
It was already paid off when you sat down.
Uh-huh.
The day when you did the credit application and you was approved, the whole loan was already paid off.
Wow. So here we are. We have millions of
Because
Americans.
not to cut you off, but the Federal
Mhm.
Reserve notes have no legal value. You can go to the U.S. Treasury website and
Uh-huh.
type in legal tender. It will tell you, can you pay a debt? It'll
Mhm.
give you the whole layout of what on there, what Federal Reserve notes cannot pay.
Mhm.
So it'll give you the whole history of it, Franklin D. Roosevelt,
Mhm.
the Emergency Banking Act, and
Mhm.
all that. And if you go on there, you'll see it says that Federal Reserve notes do not have any value to pay any debt
Mhm.
within the economy.
Mhm.
The only reason Federal Reserve notes are being used in the day system because the belief that the government has
Mhm.
given you to make you think that that it has value,
Mhm.
because it's just on the belief system of the public. But if they truly know, because under Article 1, Section 10
Mhm.
of the United States Constitution, it says gold and silver was the only currency to pay any debt. Anything
Mm.
beyond that is illegal.
Hmm. I'm paying these credit cards too. What are the rules? Hmm.
It's already illegal with that too,
Whoa.
with credit cards. Everything is a contract. Everything.
Right. Right. Right.
With the United States is a business.
Right. Wait.
Okay, it was
Wait. Wait.
established
Wait.
in,
You said it's a business.
yes,
Okay. It's a corporation.
yes.
Okay.
It's just like Walmart. It's just
Mm.
like any other company. You got a CEO, you got a president, you
Mhm.
got you got multiple layers within the company.
Mhm.
Then you got subsidiary.
Mhm.
So the president is the CEO
Mhm.
of the United States Corporation.
Mhm.
It was established in 1925,
Mhm.
right? So the whole thing was we have the president of the United States. He's
Mhm.
the CEO. He's the president. So then Congress is the board of directors.
Mhm.
The state, the city, and the 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 state, the federal government, the
Mhm.
state. That's all your subsidiaries
Right.
under
Right.
main umbrella.
Right.
That's all it is.
Okay. So now we've established that um, I've been for 8 years, 8 years, 9 years, 8 years, paying back money to something that I don't owe. Now what? Okay. I filed this paperwork. I sent it to whoever needs to get sent to. Then what?
Now you say we're going to court.
Okay.
And what that looks like is, we're in the middle of that now
Mm-hmm.
with one of our clients, and you calculate how. Well, what we do is we calculate how many years you've been in there and how
Mm-hmm.
many you didn't know. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking about millions, Queen. We're
Mm-hmm.
talking about so
I've been here 8 years, and I can tell you now, I'm finding that it was today that I found out. So.
so so like anything else, you should have a right, like in your mortgage
Mm-hmm.
slash investment contract. You're supposed to have the right to rescind.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to give you the right to rescind documents when you sit down at the table, which
Mm-hmm.
they don't. There's a there's a separate document outside of the mortgage called the pooling and servicing agreement that they don't tell nobody, that they make you a third party contractee to, and which holds billions in it. I'm talking about B in your name, that they should have never gave you any gave you put you in that contract at all, but they did, and you're a third party contractee,
And I don't even know it.
and they don't even say, and you don't know it.
And all of this happened with the signature that I originally gave.
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Without my permission.
Because what you don't know is that a contract doesn't have value. It has collateral asset. It becomes an asset to the corporation. Every signature becomes an asset. Like they insure your body. They put an insurance claim on your body. That's why when people die, if the family don't claim the insurance of it and know nothing about it, the government will insure your body. They insure your eyes, your neck, your teeth, your head, your brain, all
you talking about the teeth that my mama paid to get straight?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, so like you have your license is $11.2 million.
Wow.
The license, everything is in the insurance claim. Everything is a contract claim.
Okay. So now we go to court. And do you need an attorney for this, or you just show up?
No, the attorney, I do it by power of attorney.
Power of attorney. Okay, I understand. And so now your company, you guys go to court on your client's behalf. Okay. And what does that look like? So you go to court, you guys go to court with before a judge.
Yeah.
Who is the defendant? The bank?
The mortgage company, and what the one in federal court is going to be the mortgage company and the bank. We haven't went all the way through the court stuff yet, but we've been through bankruptcy, because only two of my clients want to go through the whole process. So this time is, two of my clients going through the whole process. The rest of the clients that I have, all they wanted was the house. Once they got the house, they was like, "Woo, I'm cool."
Okay, so there's more than just the house.
Yeah.
What is the more than the house?
You get the damage claim. The damage claim that they've been defrauding you for
whatever amount of years.
Whatever amount of years.
So with the damage claim, that's I would assume, so for me, I would say it's 8 years. So if I decided I wanted to go and I want this to go all the way, and I get the damage claim, and that's 8 years of 12 months of mortgage.
That would be $1 million for the years that you in the house.
Every year?
$8 million. We just keep simple numbers.
Wow. Yeah. Absolutely.
$8 million. $8 million check, Queen.
I'm typically not a speechless person. And I'm not supposed to be speechless because I'm a podcast host. But I am floored with what I'm hearing right now.
Right.
So how long does this process normally take?
When we first started, like when I first learned this, I mean, you talk about being nervous, because, luckily I was fortunate enough somebody let me make them the test dummy when we first started. And, that was the most scariest part, because it's like, you still learning, but now you got somebody's house in your hand.
Right. Right. Now you're like, wait a minute now.
But now we got to stream down to a science. So it's pretty much, we try to do it within 12 months.
Okay, that makes sense. So 12 months. And now, first of all, how much do you charge for this service? Does it depend, or is it a flat rate? or is
I try to keep it simple
right?
for everybody. It's normally $5,000 donation, basically. You
Okay.
know,
And okay. Okay. Because I feel like once this airs, I'm gonna get all
so
kinds of DMs and all
donation.
kinds of phone calls, and I'm not gonna know what to tell them. So, okay,
Or just give
so
them my number. Just
oh
give them
yeah,
my number.
yeah, because I don't have no answers. I'm just here to be a vessel. So once you go through the court, and typically what it sounded like is that the banks lose. Do you get the
Or
deed to
they
your
fight
home?
all.
What's that now?
They fight all day long. They
Yes,
literally fight all day long. So
right.
um
So once it's all
normal,
over,
right.
then what? What does that look like?
Then the your trustee is the one that owns the house. Like when you
Hmm.
go to bankruptcy court, the judge don't really have any control over these houses. It's the
Hmm.
trustee that's on a lot of these mortgage. Because this is the other thing.
Hmm.
When you in the house and you talking about paying property tax, whatever,
Right.
when you supposedly pay a mortgage, that trustee is the one that's supposed to pay the tax,
Yes, which
not
is
you.
normally your escrow account. Does it come out of
Yeah,
your escrow account?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
And it's coming off of your other means
Right. Right.
from the day when you born.
Right.
So it's
Okay.
that, you know. So from that, he's supposed to pay all them taxes.
Hmm.
Until until quote unquote that mortgage is paid off,
Paid off. Right.
you're not required. As long as that contract is active, you're not required to pay no tax
Right.
on the property at all.
So
Because
okay.
he's in control of the property, not you.
Right.
You're just a tenant.
Right. But yet we're paying those. They come out of the
Yeah.
mortgage. Pay them biannually here in Maryland.
No.
Um.
I had two cases in Maryland so far.
Wow.
And the
Okay.
judges can't stand me up there, man.
What's that now?
The judges can't stand me up there, man.
Okay. Well. So okay. Once the so after you finish through the process, now do I now own my home? Is it mine?
Yeah, it's yours.
Mine. And
Yeah.
I don't have to pay the rest of a mortgage.
No.
Matter of fact, they owe me
Then you
money.
just then you just go sue them for what they owe you.
So now it's turned into two cases. So now I own my home and then we go back and say, hey, y'all run me my money back.
Yep. Yep.
What if you refinanced? Do you have to go to each bank separately and say, hey, y'all owe me some money?
The refinance ain't legal either. None of it. The whole mortgage game is
Scam.
it's like the street game.
Mm-hmm.
It's the legal street game with suits
Mm-hmm.
and it was legal before the 1980s.
Wow.
Before the 1980s, if you had a house for 100,000, you just paid it. That was it. You paid the note, and that was it. They
Right.
gave you the house. But once they started putting it on the stock market, selling it multiple
Mm-hmm.
times over,
Now is
I have a client right now that we're
mhm.
working on. He paid his mortgage from 8 different companies 8 times. He has 8 lien releases already done, finished.
Now, does that come from the refinancing and so on and so forth?
No, that comes from the stock market and them trading it multiple
Trading his
times.
mortgage.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that the word when they say you, because I know when I bought my home, it was a brand new build. And
When they
so
call it transfer.
that,
When they
yes, that's what I was going to
got
ask. If
they
is
got
it we're
transfer.
going to transfer your mortgage?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. So now I own my home. I have the option to take it to a federal court
Mm-hmm.
and sue for each year that I've paid for I would assume is that punitive damages or just damages?
That just damages all
Damages.
of it.
Okay. And so now this thing comes off of my credit. So what
Mhm.
do I do in regard to going to buy another house? I guess at this point, if I have $8 million, I don't need a mortgage. I go and buy cash.
No, you don't want to necessarily do that. Do a subject to.
Oh, what?
Do a subject to.
Okay, what's
A
that?
subject to is you take over someone. You say to the person like they're upside down basically. So you say to them, what type of mortgage do you have? And I got you want it to be a fixed mortgage because it fluctuate all crazy.
Right,
So
right.
the typical way, but we do this a little differently. The typical way is they keep it in their name, but you just pay the mortgage down for them, but you take over the payments, but their name is still on the mortgage and you pay it down. But you pay them to move out. You cover their moving costs, whatever, and then you pay it down, and then that and then you pay it off. Then everything gets transferred to you. What I do is, and I shouldn't really say this, but I'm
Only
gonna
tell
say
me
it.
what you want to tell me. Don't
Okay.
tell me what you want me to know. If it's not something you want out there, they just gonna have to they're gonna have to get with you
All right,
personally.
all right, yeah, because I
They're gonna have to
don't,
call you.
yeah, I don't want to get a whole
There it
game
is. That's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You let me get $8 million. I don't even think I want to buy anybody else's home. I'm gonna buy some land and go build my own.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Move it
We do
like
the
that.
land patents too. We do the land patents too.
Land pass. What is that?
Land patents is you can own the property, you can have the property, but if you don't own the land, they can still put you out.
Oh,
They can get you. They can put you out on property tax.
okay. So if I
You
want to
agree?
go and I get my $8 million, I get my little $8 million, and I decide, you know what, I found some land in Maryland, and I want to buy this land, and someone owns it. I can pull up to the table and be like, hey, I want to pay for this in cash. That way I don't have to deal with a mortgage company. It's now my land. I own that land.
Right. But see, then you don't even have to. You don't even, if you own the land, whatever house is on that property, like you can have 500 properties on that land. Once you own that land, you the bank.
Right. I technically still own every property on that land.
On that land. So I got a client now that's got 500 properties. We found her land patent. She got 500 properties, and now when we go to court, the mortgage company is going to have to pay her all the way from the back, because now she claimed it. So now when that's done, she a multi-millionaire.
So what they do? They just cut the check. They like a direct
No,
deposit.
they gonna fight it, of course, but ain't nothing to fight because you're sitting there with the land patent.
Okay, so really quickly. Okay, so let me back it up real quick. So for myself, I'll just say my situation because I don't know anybody else's. But so if I take this thing to court, right, and I get the deed to my home, at this point, I no longer have to pay a mortgage. This is now my home, but I don't own the land. So for example, I live in a townhome. I don't own the land, but I still own the home.
Right.
And I don't have to pay a mortgage anymore at this point.
Nope. Nope.
Okay. Okay. I need to go find me $5,000 somewhere. That's what it sounds like. I need to find me $5,000. Or these people that have $5,000 need to sign up through my affiliate link. And then I pay mine that way.
Well, I need a couple of your hoodies.
You already know. Okay. You just need to shoot me the size. You shoot me the size, I'll make it happen.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm a medium.
So now I got you, King. I'll send it out today. So okay. Many of Americans, and one thing that I learned when I was super heavy into real estate was a lot of folks, they weren't able to afford homes and things like that because of the credit and the requirements. If you have a large amount of student loans and stuff like that, it's very difficult for you to get a home. So if you don't already have a home and you're wanting to purchase a home, how do you avoid all of this? Or can you?
tax. Yeah, you can do. They got tax lien sales,
Right.
sheriff sales.
Right.
Um, you can always get around. They get property. You know,
Without
you,
having to go through a mortgage company.
without having to go through a bank or mortgage
Right.
company. Or not.
And that requires you to have a certain amount of cash, no?
Not necessarily. You
Mm-hmm.
find other people with the cash.
There
If
you
you ain't,
go. Okay. Okay. Okay.
use other people's money.
Other people's money.
Yeah,
Yes.
use other people's money, not your money.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Because what you want to do is too, what I want to say is you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to own anything. You want to control what you have. You don't want to own it.
What's the difference?
Owning it means you're holding the liability.
Okay.
The whole you're responsible for the debt. When
Okay.
I when I take my name out of things, you want to control the asset. You want to have the benefit of using that asset,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that house, that car, all that, all
Mm-hmm.
the amenities of what you already been doing. The
Mm-hmm.
only difference is you want your estate to own it. You want
Mm-hmm.
your LLC to own it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want to own it, not you.
Okay. So let
But
me ask you this.
one of the richest people, and I
Mm-hmm.
forget, I don't know if it's the Rockefellers or Warren Buffett. He
Mm-hmm.
said, I own nothing, but I control everything.
You're absolutely right. So let me ask you this. I don't have a mortgage anymore. We've done everything and, they done took a L and I'm happy. I don't have to pay a mortgage every month. I now control this.
Yeah.
I don't own it. I control it.
Now, once you put it in a trust, you got to put it
Put it in a
in
trust.
right.
Okay.
Right.
And so that's a whole nother level of game that
Yeah.
I don't know anything about.
We could talk about that offline.
Yeah. I know nothing about it. So I then put this home in a trust.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just live here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't sell it. I don't have any intentions of selling it. I just live here until I'm ready to go do something else.
Yep. You can leverage by
Right.
other things. Offer that, leverage it. I mean, by other
Right.
property
Right. Right.
multiple times. Rinse and repeat. Do the same
With
thing.
it being in my trust.
Yeah. Yeah. You can create an insurance policy or
Mm-hmm.
whole life insurance policy and then encompassing that as a trust and eliminate the bank all the way through.
And use my life insurance policy as my bank. I am
It
my
has
own
to
bank
be,
at that point.
yeah. Yeah, you gotta have a whole life insurance and
Right.
structure it as a trust.
Right.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? So that's what the Rockefellers did. They have 300 to 500 policies
Wow.
on top of each other.
Right.
So you could do a policy of $100,000, but a whole life insurance policy, you could overfund it. And then the excess money you could use for whatever you want, real estate, cars, whatever.
Yep. Whatever you need. Yep. That makes a lot of sense.
And you encapsulate the interest rate within that
Yes.
trust. So it
Right.
doesn't go, you don't lose no assetable value to anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's all encompassing into everything you're doing.
I've been living foul, man.
We all
I've been living
we,
foul
we,
because we're
we,
not educated
we
about
know.
this. We're not told about this kind of stuff,
Right.
and it's for a reason.
Yeah, of course.
For a reason.
Of course. And by the way, I'm gonna be on Clubhouse today at 2:00.
Okay. Clubhouse at 2:00.
Game about that.
Okay. I might be shooting another podcast, but I got your number, so I get my own Clubhouse.
Okay.
Wow, King. So first of all, I appreciate you coming on here and speaking and telling us what a lot of us don't know. When we're growing up and we're told to, you go to school, you get an education. Nowadays, I believe that entrepreneurship is something that is encouraged a lot more than college. I'm a college graduate. I have my MBA as well. And
congratulations.
I appreciate it, but I also want a refund. Because I've learned.
Your student loans could come. Listen, I don't care what they say about your student loans. They can get wiped too. So.
Because I got a lot of those.
Yeah. So your student loans could get wiped. So they all line. They straight line when they say your student loans can't get wiped. They can get wiped.
You got a process for that?
Of course.
Of course. Of course you do. Of course. And I follow in the community of Sonia, the student loan doctor, and she has a lot of information on that as well. So it is a real.
But you should have never gotten it. You should have never been.
Should have never had them in the first place, huh?
You should have never been forced to even pay. They was paid off when you did the application.
Because of that same process.
The same process.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all the same thing.
Mm.
Everything is the same way. You shouldn't have no car note. Shouldn't have none of that.
So can you run the same process for all these things?
Yes.
Have you ran the same process for any of these things, other things? Or you just stick to what you know?
We're doing it now. We're doing it now for the cars.
Okay.
And, we're in the process of doing that for somebody's car right now.
I got 4 of them jokers. I got 4 of them. 2 of them on Toro, you know. But
well, you might not want to kill that. That's making money for you right there. You might not want
No. Yeah, no. I'm not. But there's one that doesn't. That one is personal because I feel some type of way about letting anybody else drive it. I'm personally attached to it, and I hope that nobody judges me for it. But the other 2 that are on Toro, I'm not attached to.
How they gonna judge you for something that's yours and you love?
Right, it's mine. You know what I mean? That was like a gift I gave to myself. I was super excited about it.
Hey, but next time, don't spend your own money though.
Yeah, I'm just now learning that. You know what I mean? Like I said, we've been taught and been raised.
I know we always like, yo, let me buy that.
Let me go get this. And we were taught to make money, go to work, make money, budget your money. And now I'm just now getting to a space of learning of investing and things like that. And I'm not trying to be anybody's stock market guru because it's not my thing. I'd rather pay somebody to do that.
That's confusing.
Yeah, it's confusing. It's a lot going on. It's really just not my thing. And I'm okay with this. It's not my thing. Plenty of other ways to bring in streams of income.
Right.
But we're just taught and it's instilled in us to go to work, get a good job, have kids, do whatever, the whole 9, pay your bills. And, we make this home ownership thing really huge in our community. Huge accomplishment. And it is.
Yeah.
But we're now doing this, now that I'm hearing what you're saying, we're doing this in vain, sort of. We're doing it wrong. We're doing it wrong. Okay.
Right.
We're doing this wrong.
Yeah.
Well,
because we gotta stop putting things in our name. That's what's killing our economic wealth.
Right.
When we're buying stuff, but we're putting it in our name. No. Why is it that you have to own it? I don't have to own it. I just want to use it. You know what I mean? I want to use it. I want to benefit off it. I want the luxury of being able to get in the car, but I don't want a bill in the mail the next month.
Right.
And guess what? That's not even a bill. It's already paid. Because let me ask you a question, Queen. If when you get a bill, do you get an invoice? Isn't it supposed to be an invoice?
It should be, but I get a bill.
So when you get a statement, is it a bill or a statement? So a statement is what? Isn't that when something already been taken care of?
Technically, yes.
So why are we getting statements in the mail? If it's already been taken care of.
I'd love to see I'm gonna get back to you on that one, but it'd be a lifetime before I got back to you because I don't know. That doesn't make sense.
Right, that's what I'm saying. See, this is what we have to think about in these things. We're so quick to be like, all right, I owe this.
Right.
You gotta say, how do I own? A statement is something that's already been done. I should be getting an invoice if it's due. But you know why? United States is bankrupt. That's why.
Yes, that I do know. I don't disagree with it.
So where the interest, where the collateral interest. So technically slavery never ended. It just modernized itself.
Ooh. Oh, you talking.
But if they're gonna have you in slavery, you gotta switch the game up and say, okay, well, I want to control everything.
Right. Because that's what they have. Right. Control. So you gotta take your control back.
Right.
But we don't know how until we met Orlando.
And I gotta say this while I got you here.
Absolutely.
I want to give you your flowers now, and I just want to put out there that, you know, my phone has been messed with multiple times and like that. So this is information that is very sensitive. That certain individuals, I think, are, let's say, watching. You know, so. And with that, I'm gonna just say that.
There it is. If you know, you know.
So I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, King. Wow. I have been I feel like I've been bamboozled. I've been violated, you know, like somebody just taking something from you, you know, and you work so hard to what we think we're supposed to have, which is ownership. Learn today that we need to have control, because that's what has been instilled in us, and that's what's been implanted in our minds. But it's not the truth.
No, it's not.
It's not the truth. It's an ugly truth. So we got work to do. We got work to do. And so my question is, do you have a website or anything like that, or this is just under wraps?
I have a website. I need it redone, but I do have one. My Instagram and my Facebook has been hacked into. I'm trying to get that.
That's crazy. I'm dealing with that right now as we speak. My Google email has been hacked, which is why I was a little late today. And I have to establish a new email account.
Well,
there's nothing I can do with it.
This ain't by mistake, because it's a lot going on. And we can talk off camera that.
Right.
Found out.
Right. Well, look, man, I appreciate you coming through to the Ugly Truth podcast and giving us your ugly truth, King. You are, your service, your level of service and what you're doing for those who come in contact with you is life-changing. Okay, it's life-changing. And what I've learned today, or what I hear today, is if you know better, you do better. And so I truly appreciate you coming through and giving us what you could and dropping these gems. I expect for this episode to soar.
And they can call my office. My contact number is 267-675-7045.
Absolutely.
You can call there, leave a message, and I'll get back to you. Because, like I said, you can go to my website, but like all my social media is being tampered with multiple times. So trying to get that situated, but that number I just gave is straight to my office. And
yeah, I'll definitely be sure to put those in the notes, the description notes of the episode. Wow. I'm overwhelmed. This is great. Information is great. I appreciate you coming through. And I'm pretty sure this will not be the last time that you are on the The.Truth podcast. Because you was about to go into a whole nother section about this insurance thing. That's another thing that we don't know, especially as a community, about life insurance and the benefits. What we're taught is that life insurance is just to avoid a GoFundMe. when something happens or if something happens, but there's a lot more to life insurance and what it can provide for you and your family generationally.
Right.
So that's gonna be a whole nother segment. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it because you got some information that we need to know. And I appreciate what you've come through and what you shared with us today. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead. We're going to shut this one down. Thank you guys for joining the Ugly Truth podcast. My guest Orlando came through dropping the gems. He dropped some heavy hitters on us. If you are interested in the information that you have listened to today, okay, if you're interested, there will be a link in the description of where you can get in contact with Orlando. We're going to work on an affiliate link some way, shape, or form, but we're going to work it out.
I do travel. So if I gotta travel to you, I do travel as well.
That means that there's going to be an overhead cost. There's going to be a travel line of accounting. Okay. There's going to be, but after paying a travel line of accounting, I will pay a plane ticket cost. Okay. to not have to pay a mortgage anymore. I would. I'm pretty sure y'all would too. Okay. So leave any comments you guys have, any questions, comments, go ahead and leave those in the comments. I appreciate you all for tuning in with us at the Ugly Truth podcast. Orlando, thank you so much for coming through. I really, really appreciate you, King. I appreciate the constant support that you give to the Ugly brand. This was amazing. So next time we're going to hit that life insurance spill and get on that level of education because we definitely need it. All right. So we are closing the Ugly Truth podcast. Remember, it is sponsored by The Ugly Brand. Go to theuglybrand.com. Get your gear. Okay. We out here. We're doing it ugly. Orlando said it himself. You guys heard his own story. This man has cerebral palsy. He has made it to 50 and been homeless 5 times. 5 times. And now he's showing you how to eliminate a mortgage. Okay. That's normally our largest debt. I don't know if it gets any better than that. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be here. See you next time.
Peace.